Hello and welcome to Unit 6, Bring Student Work Online. Unit 6 is broken up into two different sections. The first one is make in-person meetings more effective, and the second half is use Hangouts to hold meetings anytime, anywhere. And real quickly, you can get a link to this PowerPoint below in the description. It's found on my Teachers Pay Teacher store, and there's also a link to my Google Certified Trainer webpage within the Google Educator directory. Now let's get to it. So make in-person meetings more effective, right? You want to make the meetings you have, the teacher meetings, PLCs, things like that. You want to make them more effective using these Google G Suite tools. So, are you interested in more effective meetings? Okay, start meetings with a Google Calendar. Why? Because it lets teams easily share calendars and they can schedule a meeting. So use the calendar to schedule a meeting. Google Calendar can handle invitations and RSVPs. It'll send out invitations, and then the individuals you invite can RSVP back to you. It also sends reminders before the meeting starts, which is really one of the most important things because everybody forgets. You can attach a shared Google Doc to the meeting for the meeting agenda. So use the Google Doc as the meeting agenda and put that right into the calendar. And you can add you can record the meeting minutes, take notes, and share action items within that Google Doc. And lastly, Google Calendars, use Google Calendars to book various resources, such as you can book electronic equipment, rooms, and more, all using the Google Calendar. So, create meetings using Google Calendar. Well, what are some of the good things about Google Calendar for meetings? You can create an event. You can add details to that event, add guests, have guests RSVP. There are a bunch of different guest options. You can have notifications, and you can add a Google Doc. So this is a nice little summary here. Make meetings better. All right, so this focuses on how could you prepare before a meeting to make it more efficient. So these are the steps right here. This slide right here is before the meeting. So what do you want to do before the meeting? You want to have an agenda that everybody's aware of, and you can add it to the calendar invitation as a shared document. Getting the right people there is important, and getting them there on time. Okay, that's something else that's going to help. Help prepare you for the meeting. So make sure you get times out and things like that. Inform people of the meeting by sending them an email, but then it's up to them to add it to their calendars. That's another way. Get everybody's input before the meeting. To add that to the agenda, right? So if you're going to have an agenda for a meeting, get everybody's input beforehand. Maybe a Google form would be a good idea too. And you want to add that to the agenda. So these are just some of the things to prepare you before, that can help prepare you before a meeting to make it more efficient. So have an agenda, make sure everybody's getting there on time. When you use a calendar, it'll send out the time. And get everybody's input for the agenda. Okay, make meetings more effective. This is what the Google training suggests. To make meetings effective, have clear goals, focused discussions, end the meeting on time. That's the worst thing. That's the worst thing to do, is to keep people there before their time, and then they're going to be very upset with you, whoever's holding the meeting, if you keep them there longer. And then they don't want to come to other meetings that you have. Record the minutes. That's a good idea. Action steps, right? How many times do you go to meetings and nothing gets done? Make sure you have the action steps. And lastly, send out information, right? Send out the minutes, send out the action steps and things like that. Okay. When the meeting is over, after the meeting, how can you ensure that the action items get followed up and done, right? Just because we have these action steps and these action items, that doesn't mean it's going to get done, right? So what are you going to do to follow up? All right, so take minutes during the meeting, then everybody is much clearer about the decisions we make. So first you have to take the minutes down, make a checklist of items, and then have them check it off as they get done, right? So you have action items, but make it into a checklist, right? So it's interactive. And it's a good idea to send out post-meeting information. Even after the meeting's done, send out post-meeting information to anybody who attended. Okay, let's get started here. So with meetings, start with a clear idea of what needs to get accomplished, right? Whatever the meeting is, make sure everybody knows what the goal is. Start with an agenda and an invitation. Okay, if you're gonna lead this meeting, make sure you have an agenda and you gotta invite everybody to the meeting. You can add a Google Doc to the calendar invitation so attendees can't lose the agenda. Okay, it's not like handing it out with a piece of paper and it gets lost. They put it in their pocket, it's gone. Use a shared Google Doc to keep track of ideas. Right, the shared Google Doc's a good idea because it's always going to stay with the meeting and everybody shared on it. So whatever is written by one person, everybody else gets to see. As people complete their action items, they can just come back to the doc and update it and things like that, right? So if you have a list of action items on a shared Google Doc, when the person finishes it, they can, write, oh, I did this, that, and etc. and so forth. Okay, add a shared Google Doc to your meeting. So it starts with the document, have an agenda, minutes, and action steps, right? You're going to take that Google Doc and you're going to send it out, to everybody who's a part of the meeting. Okay, so we got a lot of ideas here. Let's put it into action. What are you going to do? All right, you're going to use the Google Calendar to create meetings and share them with all the colleagues. Doing this will automatically add the meeting to their Google Calendar, right? So if you use Google Calendar to create meetings and you share with them and they invite, this meeting is going to go on their calendar. So if I send you, an invitation from a Google Calendar and you reply yes, now it's automatically on your calendar, which is great. Okay, stop trying to arrange meetings by using email. Stop with the emails, okay? Instead, create meeting events in Google Calendar and invite people to them using the built-in invitation system. So much better than emails is using Google Calendar because it's going to go right into their calendar. It's going to have reminders, and it's just much, much more organized. All right, lesson check. What's the best way to distribute an agenda for an upcoming meeting? Add the agenda to your Google Calendar invitation as a shared doc, right? That's pretty much what we spent the past 5 minutes talking about. Meeting resources such as projects, laptops, and even rooms can all be booked through Google Calendar. Is that true? Yes, it's true. Using a Google Doc for keeping minutes is a good idea. Why? Why is it a good idea? Why should you use a Google Doc for keeping minutes? Well, first off, it lets everybody in the meeting contribute if they want to. Google Docs are hard to lose and easy to find. Okay? They can be emailed to people who have been unable to attend the meeting. Even if somebody misses the meeting, you can still email them a Google Doc. And they can be set up so that some people can edit them and others can just view them. Don't forget you have all the sharing options and everything like that. So using a Google Docs for keeping minutes is so important. It's what this whole section focuses on. Which of the following features does Google Calendar not have? Okay, so what does it not have? Take a look real quick. Yeah, it doesn't have time travel, right? What a ridiculous question. All right, but what you want to focus on are the things it does have, right? So if it doesn't have time travel, it has check to see other people are available or not, RSVPing. It's the ability to send out a meeting reminder. All right, so this is kind of a short unit. We already did half. We're halfway done through Unit 6. No real tasks, that will come up in the next unit though. So now we're going to use Hangouts to hold meetings anywhere, anytime. Okay, so I want you to watch this video in its entirety. And some of this was covered in Unit 4. But basically this is your Google Hangouts, and it goes over all the different task lists, right? So it talks about start Hangout Instant Messenger, archiving Hangouts, Hangout notifications. This video, it's embedded into the PowerPoint. It's also linked to specific parts of the PowerPoint as we come up, but you can find it on my YouTube channel. All right, so video calls with anyone, anywhere. We're on Google Hangouts now. So Google Hangouts is a communication tool, just like Calendar, and allows for video calls with anyone, anywhere. With Hangouts, you can see and hear the other person and have a conversation as if you're in the same room. And the best way to communicate with anybody is face-to-face. Oh, excuse me, in person. Right? So many times there's problems with emails and text messages. You can't really get the connotations and things like that. So that's the best way. You can have up to how many people? This is important. 25 different people in the same video call. Okay, remember that's for G Suite education domains. And Hangouts are integrated with Gmail and Google Plus. Okay, so 25 different people at the same time, excuse me, same video call, and don't forget it's integrated with Gmail and Google Plus. All right. You can talk with a parent outside of school, okay, using Google Hangouts. You know, if maybe they can't make it to the teacher conference, you want to reach out to them with Google Hangouts. Perfect. You can coach a student who couldn't make it to school due to an illness, help with homework, okay, an exam prep, maybe the night before, big test or something like that. You want to review some, use Google Hangouts. You could teach from different locations to a class of students. You know, if you, I don't know, maybe you take one class on a field trip and you could Google Hangout another class that couldn't make it. You could even connect with your students. You can connect your students with other speakers. You can invite speakers into the classroom through Google Hangouts video calls, right? You can video call in an expert, have them communicate with the class. All right, let's keep going. All right, so these are a couple tasks you have to be able to do. You need to be able to do these to complete your Google Certified Educator exam. You got to be able to start a Hangout from Android. Here they all are. Okay, these are quick links, but you can all find them in a previous video. And now if you have the PowerPoint, you just click here real quick. It'll take you to it. All right, 1 second. All right, to start an instant message conversation, this is from Hangouts with your PC, and this isn't the extension. You can actually get a Hangouts extension and from the Chrome Web Store, but it looks a little bit different. So the first thing you do is click the message icon in red right here. Okay, then you enter the person's name. So when you click this in red, this thing pops up, enter the person's name, and then click the invite right here, send invite. So it'll say, let's chat on Hangouts. You can get people into Hangouts with Calendar. Remember, this is Unit 6, right? The whole first section focused on Calendar. Now the second is focusing on Hangouts, so why not integrate them? Get people into Hangouts with Calendar. You create an event. So you create an event, and then you just go right here to add conferencing, right? This is called a practice event I made up. The green arrow goes to add conferencing, and you click on Hangouts. Here's how you add guests, right here in the orange. To share your screen, first click more, the 3 dots. So that's right here in the red. You see it right up here? These 3 dots if you want to share your screen. And that's what, if you take a look now, I was webcamming myself, so my screen was showing myself. And if you want to share the screen, after you click that, you just go to share screen. Listen, the reason why you want to share screen is maybe you're doing a PowerPoint and it's on your computer and this is what you're looking at and you want your students to see it. So that's when you're going to go to share screen. Optimizing video conferencing experience. Optimizing means make the best of it. 2 things, right? Sharing the screen share. Okay, so if you're video conferencing with students, screen sharing is something you want to do so that you could actually teach, right? Whether you're showing a math problem, you're showing a Google Slides presentation, whatever. But the second thing is to manage the bandwidth. That talks about like the internet connection. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. To manage the bandwidth during a video call, you're going to click this little gear icon. Okay, not the 3 dots. The 3 dots is for screen share. Click this little gear icon and go to bandwidth, and then here you can select what you want. What you should do here, you can go to video. I don't know if the next slide's going to show. Let me see. Yeah, you'd go to video and you'd want if the call's getting all messed up, you can go to where just audio, where you can't see anything. This is if you have a bad internet connection. Or you could go to the lowest bandwidth. And it'll be a little bit fuzzy, but they can still see you. Bridging the cultural divide. Alright, so that talks about your classroom can explore different cultures through Hangouts, because with Hangouts you can communicate anywhere, anytime. So you can look through different communities on Google Plus, and find a group of teachers who work in remote schools. This is becoming kind of popular too, where one teacher will connect, one teacher's classroom will connect with another teacher's classroom. So maybe you have somebody here like in New Jersey wants to connect all the way with Hawaii, and you're going to connect with different cultures and things like that. They can join the community and send a message, ask if anybody's interested. and connecting with your students. So the best way to do that is to GEGs, I think, Google Educator groups and Google Plus. So if you were looking to, and I can't think of the name of it right now, but there's a specific group, a Google Plus community. I wish I could think of it. Where you could where they specialize in connecting different classrooms and things like that. It's actually in a Google Certified Educator level 2. Not here, but I think we'll get to it in level 2. So, and lastly, you could find teachers working in a remote Aboriginal community, engage in chat conversations, find out what's going on. All right, lesson check. How can you initiate a Google Hangout? So how do you start one? It's actually all three of these, right? You can click on the person's name in your Hangout contacts. You can create an event invitation. We talked about that with Google Calendar. And you can use a Hangouts app on your phone. Okay, we didn't really talk about that, but there's a Hangouts app on your phone. If your school uses G Suite for Education, what's the maximum number of participants? I know I said this. You should know this one. 25, right? 25 participants. Remember that number. Once you close a Hangout chat, the conversation is what? Is it lost forever? No, it's not lost forever. As a matter of fact, even if you archive it, it could be saved on the other person's Google Hangouts. So just because you close it doesn't mean it's gone forever. How can you share your screen with other participants during a Hangout? So how do you share the screen? Click the menu. It says, they call it vertical ellipses, whatever. It's those three little dots. And then you click screen share. Nice and easy. And now let's finish up with this unit check. These problems are a little bit tough here. So Chris uses the Find the Time feature in Google Calendar to schedule a meeting with his colleagues. His original plan was to meet at 11 a.m., right? But as he looks at the shared calendar, he can see that neither Dave nor Lisa have an available time. When is the first available time for all of them to meet? So what's the first available time for all of them to meet? Okay? Remember, his original plan was to meet at 11 a.m. So take a look here. 1 p.m. And you could see it right there. Okay, or 1300 hours. So you take a look at when they're booked and you got to see the first open time. Okay, Chris moves the meeting to another time when everyone's available. He remembers he needs to book a room. Okay, so he clicks the rooms link to see which resources would be available at that time. What should Chris click next? Okay, so he clicks the room link. This is a link. And what should Chris click next to see only available rooms? It's number 4 here, right? You see it says it right here, clear as day, right? Included unavailable rooms. This talks about repeat, this is notifications. It's nice and clear, right? Number 4. Dave reviews the agenda for the meeting, which is provided as a shared Google Doc, right? He scans through a list of agenda items, notices that one of his current projects hasn't been included. He feels it needs to be discussed at the meeting. So what should he do to get it included on the agenda? He should send an email to the meeting organizer and ask for it to be added. Okay? You can easily email back and forth. How might you use Google Hangouts to improve your classroom experience for all involved in student learning? So to improve the classroom experience, well, you can connect with other teachers to collaborate lesson plans from different school districts. Parent-teacher conference you can use Google Hangouts for. Coach a student when they're homesick. And interview a professional in the field students are studying. So there's a bunch of different ways you can make the most out of Google Hangouts. All right, Lisa's in a Hangout, okay, with Chris using her Android phone. So this is an Android phone. I have the, what do you call it, the iPhone. I love the iPhone. It's so much better. During the video call, she decides she would like to include her friend Ben. So she taps the screen and looks for the button that will let her add another person to the goal. Based on the screenshot, which button should she tap? Okay, she wants to add another friend. What button should she tap? You've got A, B, C, and D. And if you just look at the icons, it should be pretty easy for you. C, right? This has, it looks like a little person and an add, right? So add friend would be C. All right, that's it for Unit 6. Unit 7 is coming up. If if you want to move ahead or something like that, you can always get the you can always click the link below for the PowerPoint. Or you could stay with me all the way to Unit 13. So I'll see you soon.